The things that you have in your heart that you think are impossible are often just milestones waiting to get accomplished if you can push those limits. Everything was impossible until somebody else did it. So you can either hang around people that tell you it can be done, or hang around those that inspire possibilities. Welcome to the Inspiring Possibilities Podcast. Weekly interviews with entrepreneurs, artists, those that inspire possibilities. And I'm your host, Julian Marion. So I was talking to a friend via email, and just a brilliant person, much older than me, just brilliant. And she was saying how, oh wow, I love love your book, and the fact that you wrote it and stuff. I have a book that I want to write as well, right? And she said something that I wanted to write for a long time, but I haven't done it yet. And then she ended with, well, someday. Right? And that kind of brought me to that moment of just like thinking about it. I think sometimes whenever you think of your art and what you're creating and say something like it's someday, first we know that the chances of this happening is very, very small, right? Super small. But moreover is that I believe that in her mind, she's thinking that what she is creating is really just for her, right? For her to just document what she has done and so forth. But when you realize that what you're creating might be the answer to someone else's prayer, then now the game changes, right? Because like now the intensity that you're using to create, or the thought behind what you're creating, is much higher. Right, so that's what I'm always thinking about, that whatever I'm creating has nothing to do with me, right? I might be the originator of the creation, but it's really not meant for me. Right? I'm thinking of that person I'm thinking of that person that has this amazing book that can, that might be the answer to somebody's prayer, or that might be the catalyst to somebody's business or art or song or whatever, right? Like that catalyst, that thing that triggers them to actually say, you know what, let's go, let's do it. But by you not acting on it and using a statement like someday, you're robbing that person or delaying that person, right? And so I think whenever you start to think about that, wow, whatever I have inside of me that needs to get out has nothing to do with me. It has to do with like that next person that I have not met yet. But the beautiful thing is, after you've created something and it has come to life, and then somebody tells you that they've been searching for this their entire life, and then you brought this to them, I can't even explain the feeling that you have. Because you know that whatever it is that you have to bring out, that you have to get out of you, it's not easy. It's challenging. It's painful. Right? It's like having having kids. Right? The process is painful. Obviously, I've never, given birth, but I've seen enough time to know that it's painful, right? But the result is beautiful and amazing, and it makes everything worth it. But you still have to go through that process. You have to say yes to that voice inside that tells you, hey, this is what we need to bring to life. Say yes to that. Don't worry about the how. Don't worry about how long it will take. Worry about just acting on it and understanding that the version of you today is not the version that's going to be there at the finish line. Right? Because as you're going through this, you are going to go to different evolution. Like, that's just the reality. You're going to go through different evolution, because anytime you're trying to write about a topic, God has this amazing way of bringing more things in your life to make you an expert in that topic. And sometimes those things are a little painful, right? And so you're going to go through a journey, right? So like when you start, this version of you is not the same version that is going to be there at the end of the finish line. But you're going to have developed, right? I always say there's things you know, there's things you don't know, and there's things you don't know. right? So whenever you get into this journey, there's a lot of things that you don't know, you don't even know. So that's why I always recommend the first thing, whenever you have this big goal or this big thing that you want to start and do, the very first thing you should do is find the people that have done it. And then just have a conversation. Because what you'll see is that they vibrate at a different frequency. They speak different, right? It just feels different. But that is going to allow you to have revelations inside of those moments, inside of those conversations, right? Revelations that are yours, right? My revelations might be different than your revelations, but you will have revelations, right? And from those revelations, you'll write them down and you will get the lesson, the insight, from it, and then you will evolve, and then you will know what the next steps are. So I always recommend just what are the first 3 steps that you can do right now to get it out? What are the first 3 steps? If that means just sketching it, giving it to a friend, or putting it on your wall, that might be your first 3. The first 3 that you need to do with this current version of you, right? Without any expectation of, I need to launch today, I need to get this thing today, I need to get this thing tomorrow. No expectation. Just what are the first 3 things you can do right now? Then once you've done it, tomorrow, what are the next 3 things you can do? And then you keep on moving like that. And that is how you can really get it out. All right, so it's a short one today, but I hope that did speak to someone. And if that spoke to you, then go ahead and make those 3 moves that you need to make to get it out of you. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.